Hey, it's Dave Wyman from Bob, Dave, and More. Time for Football 101. Seahawks with a big win, 4-0. First time since 2013 when they won the Super Bowl. So great start. A little shaky on defense. And I thought that they took a huge step in this game against Miami. A lot of people will say, well, the opponent, they're not great. But still, you know, they did something I think that's very promising that they worked on the week before. And a lot of people had questions about the defense. They were giving up 500 yards. Only 415 in this. Like I said, baby steps. It'll get better, as the year goes on. But we'll look at a play. This is the very first play of the game, and they complete a 9-yard stop route to Devontae Parker, Ryan Fitzpatrick, the quarterback. And just want to kind of take a look at what I wrote here: cover 3 and man with a question mark, because I'm not entirely sure. But a lot of times they'll play man on one side and zone on the other. And on this side, they're playing zone, definitely. This looked like man to me because these guys were jumping these routes right away and then just trailing and running with them. And on this side, you could see that they were playing what looks like half of cover 3. And cover 3, when we say 3, that means how do we cover the deep part of the field? The deep part, from about 15 yards to the goal line. And if you're in cover 3, you've got 3 guys dropping, which would be Quandre Diggs, the free safety, in the middle third, and then Trey Flowers in the outside third. And then you've got your underneath zone drops, which are in this case going to come from KJ, Bobby, Cody Barton, and the strong safety, Ryan Neal. These are the underneath droppers. So they're dropping 10 to 15 yards. And that's kind of been the area where they've given up a lot of leaky yardage. So first of all, let's talk about Trey. He turns and kind of runs and gives Devontae Parker a pretty big cushion here. The reason why is because if he jumps something and then he runs a double move, he's dead. I mean, you can't get beat deep. So Trey has to give him a big cushion and then try to react up to it. And it's really difficult for him. What he's relying on is the underneath zone dropper to discourage the throw, or at least get in front of it and make it kind of have to loop a little bit. And that gives him more time to get there. So KJ he's supposed to push to, if you're the outside underneath the zone dropper, you're pushing to number 1. We count from outside in. Number 1 is the outside guy. Number 2 is the inside guy. And so for these 2 guys, KJ is going to drop to number 1. And Bobby is going to drop to number 2. And these are like 10, 12-yard drops, but you just want to kind of crowd. You want to get in the area of where they are. You don't want to just stand there and cover a piece of dirt. You want to get underneath. You want to, try to read what this pattern is. So KJ, he realizes it kind of late and then turns and runs, and there's a completion on Trey Flowers right here. KJ didn't get there, and he went up to Trey and he patted his chest like, that's my bad. I'll get under it. And next time, he did. Next series, really good job by KJ. And same thing, that they're running zone on the backside. This is Ryan Neal, and he kind of drops wherever the running back goes. He just tries to drop in his zone and sort of, like I said, kind of shadow him from 10, 12 yards away. KJ knows, I got to bust my tail to get all the way out here. It's a long run. And he does a really good job. So same thing, Preston Williams runs this little stop route, and Shaquille, gives him his cushion because it's cover 3, can't get beat over the top. But KJ just turns and busts his rear end to get right out here, right in front of the ball, and almost gets himself an interception. But KJ, just a really good job, and Bobby and Ryan Neal and Cody Barton, all those guys, they did a much better job of getting underneath those zone routes and in zone coverage and discouraging these throws. And I thought they took a huge leap. They gave up 415 yards, but they worked really hard at doing this kind of thing, and and just crowding guys. We've seen in the past some of the underneath zone droppers kind of jump some of the short stuff, and then the ball goes over your head. You got to stay deep and help out these guys back here that have such a difficult job of covering guys like Devontae Parker. Let's take a look at it on film. All right, here we are with our alignment defensively. You see Trey Flowers here. He's, of course, getting ready to bail back into his deep third. And then here's Quandre Diggs. I mentioned that it looks to me like they're playing man-to-man here. These guys are locked up. And then, Cody, of course, would lock that guy up. But on this side, they're playing zone. So, KJ wants to try to drive to get underneath that. Bobby to get under number 1. Remember, this is number 1 from outside. This is number 2. KJ is going to work to 1. Bobby's going to work to 2. Here you can see the big cushion that I talked about with Trey. He's given Devontae Parker a pretty good cushion, because if he's too close to him and he bites on anything underneath, double move beats him to his deep third. So he's got this deep third back here. And, like I said, it looked like he was just beat off the line, but really he just is getting the proper cushion that he needs. And now you can see KJ kind of settles. He drops about right here and kind of settles instead of busting underneath this guy. I mentioned Bobby's working to number 2 right there. So again, dropping 10 yards, 10 to 12 yards, but really trying to kind of crowd is what I call it. Crowd the receiver so you're in sort of the general area. And of course, KJ just trying to get underneath this route. And here you can see that Trey's reacted to the throw. He had that cushion. He was back here, reacts up to make the tackle. And there's KJ. He just didn't take an extreme enough angle to get underneath that. And like I said, afterwards, he patted his chest like, hey, that's my bad. I'll get that next time, Trey. And he did. Now here's the play at 6:35 in the first quarter. So you see Ryan Neal. He's going to be kind of the underneath guy, and he's looking at number 2. Because remember, this is number 1 from outside, number 2. Since he is the middle dropper, he's going to be trying to look up number 2. And then KJ is trying to look up number 1. So you see he's up on the line here, but he gets a really good drop, as you'll see. And I talked about the angle, and KJ just a little bit flatter, and he's just charging a little bit harder to try to get underneath this throw here. But you can see Shaquille's really tight on coverage. And, that's a little bit of Shaquille trusts himself a little bit more than Trey Flowers does. And that's been kind of one of the things for Trey, that he is given bigger cushions because he doesn't maybe trust himself as much. And Shaquille has a lot of confidence. He has an interception in this game later at the end that was fantastic. But you can see KJ driving underneath this thing. And then there's KJ right there, right underneath the route. And really that ball, it would have been a tough catch. But KJ will tell you he can get that one in the future. But again, line of scrimmage was here, and look at, he is all the way out here. So not only dropping about, 10, 12 yards, but also he's running laterally as well. So good job by him. But that's something that's really important for this team, is to be able to, it's these, I call them the underneath zone droppers. These guys here, they haven't gotten beat deep a ton. They have a little bit in the Dallas game for sure, but a lot of the yardage has come in here. You get throws in here and then runs after. So discouraging these throws in this area right here is really big for this defense. Football 101 is brought to you by Heritage Distilling Company, makers of BSB, Brown Sugar Bourbon.